Hello and welcome to Guns and Gear. You know, I've made a few videos discussing the American rifleman, that concept and what that means to me. And I've also made some videos discussing defensive rifles or survival rifles, things of that nature that may be used in that role. To recap quickly, in case you've clicked on this video and you haven't seen some of the other videos, I'm not talking about a defensive rifle with a narrow concept of like being a home defense rifle. Okay, I'm talking about a more expanded defensive role and possibly having to engage a threat from a further distance than inside of a room or down your hallway. Okay. So with that, I've also made some videos and I've talked about some rifles that are somewhat outside of that mainstream tactical concept, you know, like ARs and AKs. You know, I've showed some rifles, some of them of which have a lot of history to them, and just like the rifle that I'm going to be showing you today. But they still are good, solid designs. They still have a lot of fight left in them. And that certainly is the case with this rifle right here. This is an outstanding example of a Springfield Armory 1903 A3. Okay. Now, the 1903 A3 is a later variation of that original 1903 rifle that we usually associate with the doughboys in World War I. Now that design, if you look at the receiver and bolt, a lot of people have made a claim, and I think they have a good argument, that this design is nothing short of an absolute theft of the Mauser design. Okay, the bolt looks like and acts like a Mauser bolt in every way. At any rate, this is an outstanding rifle. The 1903 A3 is a later variation and saw quite a bit of use in World War II, actually. I know that when we first entered the war, we being the United States, we had a lot of soldiers and Marines, and we didn't have enough equipment to give these guys to head into battle. And so some firearm designs like the 1903 A3 were made in quantities to help fill that need until the rifles like the M1 Garand could be put together and sent to them. Now, I got this actually from my uncle that was a Marine in World War II. He actually told me the first rifle that he was issued was a 1903 A3. It was much later before he got a M1 Garand, and then finally the Brown & BAR that he carried throughout that island hopping campaign. But the 1903 A3 is a bolt action 30-06. Okay, it has a 5-round internal box magazine, and it is just an outstanding firearm. If you look at this, the wood and everything on this firearm, it is just beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. Now this stock has military cartouches on it, including the cross cannons. You know, that cross cannon armorer's mark. And so that makes me believe that when it was refurbished, and this is a refurbished rifle, that it must have been refurbished by an armory. And that means that its value as a collector's item is not really that much. I bought this rifle quite a few years ago, and I only paid about 300 bucks for it. And one of the reasons why, it didn't have matching serial numbers on some of the parts, you know. And that really wasn't a concern for me because I was looking for a rifle to shoot, and this was about the prettiest stock that I've ever seen on a gun of that time period that wasn't a new stock that was bought and put on it. So I ended up buying this rifle, and eventually I even changed the barrel out and had a match grade barrel put on the rifle and had everything fitted up proper, and it has turned out to be an outstanding firearm. Now today, some of these guns can command a very high price, and some of these guns can be very affordable. And so that's one of the reasons why I wanted to show you this, because yes, it is an outstanding rifle. And yes, there are some very good deals out there if you're not looking for a collector's piece, okay? It may have a mismatched bolt and receiver, or barrel and receiver and bolt and things of that nature, but that doesn't mean that it's not going to be a good shooting rifle. Now there are some horror stories out there about some subpar receivers, like receivers they may use for parade guns and things of that nature, or drill guns, things of that nature, that people, build rifles and, and pass them off as good serviceable rifles. And you're always going to have to be careful with that when you are dealing with any type of military surplus arms. But one thing I will say is most of the time you'll see some information on that receiver, like who made it and maybe when it was made, and maybe some other markings or cartouches that can give you some history of it. And it would pay you to research that before purchasing such a gun. Now this rifle was made by Smith Corona, and it was made in 1942. Now Smith Corona at that time was a typewriter company, okay? And but they were not unfamiliar with firearms. See, the Smith Corona company, the Smith part of the Smith Corona company, which was that parent company, was ran by some brothers who the ringleader of them was a guy named Lyman C. Smith. Now some of you folks that may recognize that name, and that's because he is the L.C. Smith and the double-barrel shotguns that really command some very high prices today, as they are a very collectible shotgun. So the Smith brothers were not unfamiliar with the world of firearms, and that had to play a part when they took on the role of building these rifles. I don't know what else to say about this rifle other than it is outstanding. When you have a 5-shot 30-06, it may not be as sexy as having an AK-47 with a 30-round magazine or something of that nature. But if you take your time and shoulder this rifle and do your part, this rifle will serve you well. And I believe that there still are some examples out there that you can get your hands on for an inexpensive price that may not have collector value, but are solid performers. And that's really all that counts. Alright folks, well that's my video. I wanted to share with y'all this rifle, kind of show it off, because I tell you what, it's just an outstanding example of a 1903 A3. And with that, I thank you for watching my videos, and remember to shoot straight on the range and in life. Thanks.